everybody, and welcome to another product review. And this week we are talking about the new Lower Abyssals from Mantic in the Kings of War line. So I had gotten into the Kickstarter, and he fell over. And one of the armies that I selected was the Lower Abyssals, and this is interesting because it's their newest set of miniatures. I also had gotten a couple other armies from them. To be very frank, I was unimpressed. I had gotten the Basilians and the Ogres, and honestly, I just sold them straight off. I thought they were just not of a quality I was willing to put up with. But I got these guys. These are their newest sculpts, and I thought I'd take you through some here. So I've got, this is kind of everything that comes in, I guess, came in the Kickstarter, like, Mega Army, and I think you can get something roughly equivalent to this now. So I'm going to kind of review them each individually, and you can see I've got some here that are already mostly done. There's still some more work to do, but they're coming along. So we'll get to those in a minute. Let's start with the sprues. So what you get in like the Mega Army type deal, what we got is a big number of these guys, which are sort of the male incubus type demons. I think you got 80 of these in the Mega Army, quite a lot. And basically what that means is that you have a whole lot of this sprue, okay? And that's true for both of these kits, both the girls and this. It's all the same stuff. That is to say, it's repetitive sprues of this thing. It's one sprue X number of times, right? So this has, as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people on it, right? So there's 5 bodies. Now, as you can see there from looking at that, I think it's coming through pretty clear. You have a pretty good level of detail on these guys. I will say that I think their sculpting has finally reached what I would call an average quality. We're still not at the level of sort of the newer Games Workshop sculpts. We're not at the level of like a Malifaux or any of the smaller sort of boutique people. I think Wrath of King sculpts are probably still better. But we've reached average, and honestly, I would have rated the ones before this well below average. Now, the price on these guys is well known to be lower. It's been creeping up a little, but it's still extremely competitive. It's low versus the market, and that's why I was honestly excited to give these a try. Because, reasonable cost, newer sculpts, I want to see how they turn out. So, as you can see, we've got the body being mostly one piece down to the legs, pretty much in all the cases. That's true with the succubuses as well. They are, for the most part, the torso and legs are one piece. There's a couple of the girls where their legs are separate. So, like the girls doing this thing with their kicking their leg up. But it's separate, but there's no positioning to it. It's just, one of the models of these repetitive 5 have a separate extra piece you need to glue. That's really all it is. There's no customization to it. Where the customization comes in is mainly with the arms and weapons. And you do get a few extra pieces in that you get like you can see here like the standard. There it is. You can see you get like a standard, honestly, a pretty garbage standard, as a matter of fact. Like, what is that? That's nothing. I like a big banner or something that's just a tiny nothing. But you get like a musician, your sort of standard stuff. So there's not a lot of extra pieces on the sprue, in all honesty. The biggest thing you got on the succubuses was extra heads, which you did get a fair number of, and I was actually rather happy about that because I like the different, like these female girl heads, they're not too bad. If you can see holding that up, they've got their hair kind of tucked in different ways. Some of them have like ponytails, some it just comes straight back. They have different looks on their face. So I like that. I like that you get in the succubus grouping, several, like the sprue has maybe twice as many heads as you need. So I thought that was very cool. Weapons-wise, you get like literally 1, 2, 3 extra. It's not a lot. The other thing I would say about these is, as far as like your mold lines and stuff go, you're probably not going to be able to see it. It's probably too thin to see. You've still got a pretty healthy amount of mold lines on these models. There is still a decent amount of scraping if you want to clean them up. Like, if you can see, it's no way it's going to show, but on this guy's leg right here, you can see that really big mold line right there, right? So that's still a thing. It's still around. I mean, it's fine. It's what you would expect in this sort of a thing. There and as always, you're gonna scrape and then actually put the model together and start painting it and realize you missed one. It's just what happens. I did with these girls. It's what happens. So I like the weapons options. They look. I will say they do look good. Fair amount of cleanup with them, but not obscene. I would say just an average amount of cleanup. Really, it's again what I would expect. These guys do have the shield options. One neat thing that does come on these sprues, I want to point out, and this was true on the succubus sprue too, is you get a couple extra little like bonus tiny demons. You can see this guy right here, kind of a cool little dude. And then where's the other one? Here he is. This guy right here, little dude with a torch. I do not know what the point of these are. I guess maybe for like because you can diorama your base out in Kings of War, they give you sort of other things to place around. I love these little things. It's silly and small, but the girls had 2 of them on each sprue as well, and they're really cool. They're like tiny little demons or imps or whatever. Super neat addition that they really didn't need to do, but I thought that was pretty fantastic. So that's the incubus and the succubus, and you can see sort of the succubus weapon options here. You've got sort of the 2 long blades. You've got the pair of whips. Again, you get 1 set of each of these, so you're going to use all of them. They're going to have this weird mix. You've got like these girls that look like they're more, when you do them like this, they look like they're more in the witch elf pose. You've got the swords, sort of the swashbuckler, as though these demons are from medieval France. And then you've got the sort of hand axe, sort of double-bladed punching axes. Again, all decent. I didn't have any problem with it. You can't really go completely uniform if you wanted that, but that's never been a thing for me. I always liked them being mixed up, so that is one thing to be aware of. Like, it's the same with these, with the incubi, or whatever they are. If you can't do them all with the same weapons. As you can see, like, some are going to have a trident, and you could do a guy with a big double-handed axe, and so on and so forth. The only thing that's uniform is the shields, which the males come with shields, the females do not. They are only dual weapon wielders. The other things that I wanted to look at and review were, when you did this, you also got a couple medals. So they have the Molochs here, which are these big guys. I don't have his head out, but as you can see, they're in metal. It's pretty traditional metal. Again, the sculpt is decent. I wouldn't call it extraordinary. As per usual with metal, you've got a lot of cleanup. You can see lots of little pieces and things you're going to be scraping on there and stuff like that. You're going to be sanding and filing for a while. You can look at his feet and see all that. I mean, again, that's pretty standard for metal. It's one of the 14 reasons I hate metal figs. You can see the extra like flash bits and stuff like that. All that's it. There's nothing better or worse than what you would expect anytime you bought metal figs. I was actually rather depressed that they decided to keep some of this in metal. So the Molochs are okay. I wasn't too impressed with them. What I was pretty impressed with was the 2 character models that came in there. So these are sort of the little casters or princes and whatnot. I think these guys would be, if you don't mind metal, I think these guys are a pretty decent pickup for sort of characters in a Khorne army or something. As you can see there, it's very bright. There we go. As you can see, that's a very nice sculpt. Good detail on him. Like, his muscles have good definition on his legs. Kind of see as I turn that around. Fairly nice axe. Again, the flash and stuff like that. But good detail even on things like the little bracer there. Right? And then, again, the face. That's going to probably be way too small to see. But the face and not painted, it's very hard. Face has actually a decent level of detail. Tough to get the eyes. Some of their eyes are a little small, but other than that, that's not that uncommon. So again, I'm not going to really ding them for that. But I liked these 2. There's the sort of warrior one, and then here's the caster one. I won't take him out, but you can see there what's going on. He's kind of standing on the flame. Again, I actually quite like these sculpts. I think they're rather nice, even in metal. So if you're not a metal hater like me, you know, these could be a real nice pickup for sort of bloodletter characters or heralds or something like that. If you're playing Age of Sigmar or the Ninth Age, or they could be, if you're playing Kings of War, I think they're, you know, and you're playing the Lower Abyssals army, then obviously you're probably already got your eyes on them. As you can see, paint up wise, there's a couple places where the detail's not as great as I would like. So this girl's, like, some of this is a good example. The tail isn't really, in some places, as distinguished from the body as I would want. Like, it's kind of just flat. I don't know if you can really see there, but it just sort of, the tail piece just kind of meshes into the leg. Doesn't have the full divot going down in. So some of the detail is a little shallow. Like they're wearing these little necklaces, and just like if you've ever put together the plastic daemonettes, you can paint over it and basically not notice because the detail is really not great. All in all, I like their look. I think that they, especially like this one, you can see her face. I think that's actually quite nice, the detail there. Right? Some fairly decent muscle definition on like their stomach and in their legs and stuff like that. I think these, I think I like the succubuses a lot better than I like the male demons, but that's probably personal preference more than anything. So overall, as you can see, I think they paint up pretty well. They have some good variance in their poses. Not incredible, you can kind of move the arms around and stuff. Overall, I would say these sculpts are about at the level of something you would have seen out of some of the bigger makers of plastic, maybe 5 to 7 years ago. So like sort of the 2007 to 2010 range, probably, in quality. And really, they're probably lower than that in price. So overall, I think if you're looking for interesting replacement figs, if you don't mind a little extra cleanup and a little less customization with your minis, I think the Lower Abyssals are actually worth an investment. They're the first army from Mantic I've seen that I thought, I didn't hate the sculpts. I didn't think they were trash. These are good. So overall, I'm going to give basically everything from the Lower Abyssal range a solid B minus. Which I hope that doesn't sound too harsh. It's, they're just not playing up at that A level. But what keeps them in the B range is, yes, they don't have a lot of customization and does take some cleanup time, but the price is right. I feel like they hit the right price point for them. So for what you're paying and what you get, I think they're definitely a solid B minus. Overall, I think if you're looking for replacement demons, and you don't mind the cleanup, they're a worthwhile pickup. So there you go. Hope you enjoy, and we'll see you next time.